Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasani Gauragovinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. सभी बोलिए हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So first of all, I offer my unlimited obeisances under the divine lotus feet of my spiritual master, Om Vishnu Pad Brahmansa Privilaj Acharya Shkota Rishabhashi Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, and then my humble obeisances to all the several devotees. So we are continuing reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are discussing the past time when Vidur, he came back from visiting many holy places. He came back to Hastinapur with the sole purpose of delivering his elder brother, Maharaj Dhritarashtra. So the battle of Kurukshetra was over and all the Kauravas had died. And now Maharaj Yudhishthira had become the king of Hastinapur. And Dhritarashtra, who was his Ayaji, who was the elder brother of their father, Pandu, he was keeping him very respectfully, with great love and affection, even though Maharaj Dhritarashtra all along actually approved of all the different schemes to kill Pandavas. But still Maharaj Yudhishthira was very respectful to him. Now the time was approaching when it was time for Dhritarashtra to give up his life. The time of death was fast approaching. But someplace deep in his heart, he still had this attachment that he will one day become the king. From the very beginning, he had this desire, but because he was blind, he was not given the throne. So he was acting as the protector of the throne till Yudhishthira became a young person, a young man, and could take care of the throne. So someplace deep in his heart, he still had this attachment. He kabhi na kabhi to main Raja ban jaunga. Someday I will become the king. Even after seeing so much annihilation. So this is our typical human, the problem is that even after we see so much disasters and so many things, still our desire to stay attached to the material world continues. So anyways, so Vidur came and he wanted to educate Maharaj Dhritarashtra that this is not what the purpose of life is. So as we discussed last time, Tarun Krishna Prabhu explained all the beautiful instructions that Vidur gave to Maharaj Dhritarashtra. So his eyes opened. He finally realized that whatever I have done all my life was all in vain. And now that little bit life is left, I should utilize it for the service of the Lord. So at once, he left along with Vidur. So early in the morning, they both left, started walking towards the Himalayas. So that is a place where Badrikashram is, Kedarnath, so many holy places are there in the Himalayas. And mostly Rishi Maharshis will go there to perform tapasya. When Gandhari saw that his husband was going, she also followed. So they all of them left. No one knew where they have gone. So next day in the morning, Maharaj Yudhishthira, he performed his daily puja, his worship, his sandhya, his anik. And then after that, as a tradition, he went to the palace of Maharaj Dhritarashtra to give his dandavats. So this was the tradition in India that in the morning you always go and touch the feet of the elderly people. Right? Has anyone of you done it? At least one hand. So we also used to do it in the morning. You go and whoever is the elder in the house, right? Father, mother, grandparents, if there's any chacha, taya, uncles, aunts, you go and touch their feet. So nowadays, of course, if children even say hi to you, that'll be a big thing, right? Forget about good morning or touching the feet. But these are the things, if we teach to our children, this will be very helpful. Because these traditions are very meaningful for the younger people to come and touch the feet of the elder people. It teaches them humility. It teaches them that these are our teachers. We bow down in front of those who are our teachers. And our first teachers are our parents. Right? The first teachers are our parents, our grandparents. So therefore we must bow down before them. So anyways, Maharaj Yudhishthira came and he saw that Sanjay was sitting there and he was crying. Sanjay was the Sarthi of Dhritarashtra. So he was sitting there crying, and there was Maharaj Dhritarashtra was not there, Gandhari was not there, and Vidurji was not there. So when Yudhishthira saw this, he became very concerned. He said, "Where have they gone? I killed all their sons. Maybe they have become upset because of that, and that's the reason they have left. I must have committed something wrong which hurt them. But that was not my intention. I wanted to keep them with great love and affection." So he was lamenting. And he asked Sanjay, "Sanjay, where has Maharaj Dhritarashtra gone? Where has my chacha Vidur gone? And where the best of all the Pativrata ladies, Mother Gandhari, where has she gone?" So Sanjay said, "Oh Maharaj, even I don't know. These Mahatmas have tricked me. So all my life I served them, right? But now at this point they have left, they tricked me and I don't know where they have gone." Just like when Lord Ram, he left from Ayodhya. So Lakshman and Mother Sita also went with the Lord Ram. And all the Ayodhya Vasis also followed them. And Maharaj Dashrath told Suman कि इनको थोड़े देर ले जाओ जंगल में, और वहाँ पे जब ये लोग जंगल का दुख देखेंगे और वापस इनको लेकर के आ जाना, bring them back. But what happened? They went, and one day when they met Vishalraj, so in the night when everyone was sleeping, very early in the morning, before anyone could wake up, they left. So Lord Ram left with Sita ji and Lakshman to go deep into the forest. So similarly, Yudhishthira, Maharaj Dhritarashtra also left. So now Yudhishthira was lamenting and Sanjay was lamenting that where have they all gone? See, when someone you love, right, even though Maharaj Dhritarashtra has done something, so many bad things, but in the heart of Yudhishthira, there was no malice. He had no bad feelings against his uncle. And when he left, actually instead of feeling very happy, he was lamenting. So at that time, Naradji came. So then Yudhishthira asked him, "Oh dear Naradji, aap sarvajna hai, you know everything. And those who are drowning in the ocean of lamentation, you come and help them. Especially when we are very dejected, right? Many times it happens in our life because of some incident or something, we feel very dejected. At that time, if someone comes and gives us some words of solace and gives us some good advice, then we feel happy. We feel that there is someone on whom we can rely, someone who can help us. So he said, "You are the one who helps those who are drowning in the ocean of lamentation." So we don't know where my chacha and my uncle Tayaji, where have they gone? So please, you know everything. You tell us where have they gone. So at that time, Naradji gave instructions, very beautiful instructions, just like Krishna gave to Arjuna. When Arjuna was in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was ready to fight. But the moment he saw all his brothers and all all his relatives assembled there, he became very nervous. He became cold-footed. He developed cold feet. They say, right? You are ready to do something. You prepared. You have to go for an interview, and you are all excited about it, or you have to prepare for an exam, and you are all excited about it. But when the time happens, they say you develop cold feet. Now you don't want to do it. All of a sudden, you just want to run away. So Arjuna also at that time, he did not want to fight. So Krishna delivered the message of Bhagavad Gita. So similarly now, Yudhishthira was very bewildered. At that time, Naraji came and some very nice instructions that he gave. So we'll discuss some of these instructions. So Naraji said, Ma kanchan shucho rajan yadishwar avasham jagat lokah sapaha yasya ime vahanti balim ishutah saha sanyukti bhutani sahage vinunakti cha. So Devarshi Narad said, O dear Maharaj, one should not lament for anyone. One should not lament for anyone. Why? Because this entire world is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Everyone in this world is following the instructions of the Supreme. That Supreme He only is the cause of people meeting and people getting separated. So Krishna also, the first instruction, I'll just move a little. So Krishna also told Arjuna, Ashocyan Amashocastvam Pragya Vadansha Bhashase Gatasur Agatasurusha Nam Shochanti Pandita. That you are lamenting for those reasons that you should not be lamenting. And those who are pandits, those who are intelligent, they do not lament for those who come and those who leave. Right? So similar thing he is saying that what is the cause of your lamentation? Just like if you go to a hotel, right? Or you go to a festival, or you go to some kind of a conference. You meet a lot of people there, right? When you go there, you make some friendships, you meet people for 2-3 days who are there, and then everyone leaves. We don't lament for that. Or when we go to stay in a hotel, there's so many people, you may meet people in the lobby when you're having breakfast in the morning. You meet them momentarily, and then you leave, you don't even think about them again, right? So, similarly, this world also, this life is just like that. We are here in this body temporarily. During that temporary stay in this body, we meet some people with whom we may stay a long time. It appears we stay with them a long time, right? So maybe with some people we stay 30, 40, 50 years. Someone we married, we did not know that person before marriage, right? And then when you married, you stay with that person 30, 40 years. And when the child is born, we did not know who that child was before the child appeared. And then we may stay with the child 30, 40 years, right? And it seems like a long time, right? It seems like a long time. But now just compare that with your actual eternal life, right? So if we compare 30, 40 years with just our 70, 80 years of life, it looks like a long time, right? But if you compare it with a long eternal life, right? So if you think, like Krishna tells Arjuna, that this is not the first time that you have gotten this body. You had this body many, many times before also. So now compare yourself on all these lives that you are passing through, right? So that lifetime is eternal. This lifetime of the soul is eternal. So comparing to that, if you compare these 70, 80 years that we are in this body, and during that time we meet people with whom we stay 30, 40 years, how little time that is. Just like when you go to a festival or you come here to the temple, you meet someone for 2-3 hours and then go away, right? So similarly, our whole life, our whole life is also actually just a fraction of a second compared to our eternal life. So during that fraction of a second life, we get a chart in 4 days of life. So we make some relationships, but we become attached. But he's saying that everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. He is making people meet and get separated. Just like when there's a river flowing. When there's a river flowing, and especially in places like Kashmir, where they cut woods, right? So how do they transport these logs of wood? They cut the logs of wood and they put it into the river. And they flow down the river, and someplace down the stream, they pick them up. So as these logs of wood are flowing down the river, someplace they come together, someplace they get separated, and someplace they come back again. So there's a verse which says that similarly, the living entities are flowing in this river of time. काल चक्र में काल रूपी नदी में सब जीव जो हैं बह रहे हैं. All of us are flowing in this river of Kal. And during this time, just like these logs of wood, we sometimes meet, sometimes we get separated. Sometimes we meet again, sometimes we get separated. So who's your husband or wife in this life? Maybe in some lifetime before, you were related to them. And maybe in a future life you may get related to them again, or someone else. So these are just like logs of words, meaning separating, meaning separating. So if we keep in view our real eternal life, then there is no cause of lamentation. So he's saying that we should not look at very temporary, immediate happiness. We should always look for something which is more eternal and long term. So then he says, just like, say, how are people doing this? The Supreme Lord is controlling everything. Everything is being controlled by Him, and everything is moving according to His desire. The sun rises every day, the sun sets every day. All the planets are moving perfectly without deviating from their position. Right? And they are all obeying the orders of the Supreme Lord. यहाँ बोलते हैं समस्त लोक और लोकपाल उनकी ही आज्ञा का पालन करते हैं. So all the demigods, everyone is following His order. Is ever a time that the sun does not rise at the right time? Never, right? It's not that the earth is rotating always, it always takes the same amount of time, it never changes. Just imagine if the earth decides that today instead of taking 24 hours, I'll take 48 hours, or I will not rotate, right? What will happen? The part of all of us, those who are facing the sun will die because of heat, and those who are on the other side, they will die of being frozen. So earth does not decide to disobey the orders of the Supreme, right? Similarly, the sun, so many things, right? Everything which is moving as per His order. And even in this world, everything is following His order except for us humans, right? Because we do not necessarily want to follow what the Lord wants us to do. So He has given us this independent desire, which we, instead of utilizing it for becoming His devotee, we tend to become more and more away from Him. So that's the problem of today's godless society, right? So people have all the time. So I was just reading something very interesting. They say, why is it that we have all the time to sit and watch a 3-hour movie, right? No one gets bored watching a 3-hour movie, right? Especially the Hindi movies, which are long, 2.5, 3-hour movies. Long movie also people can sit and watch. But if you have to sit in the temple and listen to Katha for 3 hours, very difficult, right? When we come to the temple, we say the program should be very short. Should be very short program. But when we go and sit in the bar, no, we forget about the time. We can sit in the bar for 4, 5, 6 hours. It does not matter, right? So this is the where we unfortunately the human tendency is that instead of aligning ourselves with the desire of the Lord, we have a tendency to go against His desire, and that causes all the frustrations and problems in our life. So he says, then Naraji said that just like a big buffalo, right? A buffalo, how does the person who has the buffalo controls the buffalo, right? He puts a big rope through his nose, right? And then through small ropes, he ties his legs and other parts of the body, and that is the way he is able to control. And this buffalo carries or does whatever his master tells him to do. So he says, similarly, all the living entities are समस्त प्राणी कर्तव्य और कर्तव्य का निरूपण करने वाली वेद वाणी रूपी लंबी रस्सी से बंध कर ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, ब्रह्मचारी और गृहस्थ आदि अलग अलग नाम रूपी छोटी छोटी रस्सी से नथे रहकर ईश्वर की आज्ञा का अनुसरण करते हैं. So what he's saying is, similarly, we humans also are in one sense all being bound by these ropes of our karmas, bound by what the desire of the Supreme God is, and by the rules and regulations of this life, are doing activities that are required by Him. Even though we may many times do not, right? Many times we may or may not admit that the Supreme Lord is there, but at the same time, most of us are actually following what the Supreme Lord has destined us to do. So, Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Ishvara sarva bhutani hrideshe arjun tishtati, Brahmyan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani maya. Ishvara sarva bhutani hrideshe arjun tishtati. That, oh Arjun, that I am sitting in the heart of each and every living entity. I am sitting in the heart of each and every living entity. And just like there is a machine, right? There is a car, and you are riding on that machine. Right? And wherever that machine is taking, you have the desire of controlling, but actually everything has been done by that machine. So similarly, he says that living entities are seated on a machine made up of material energy. So we are just following what is happening, we are following according to that. So then someone may question that when everything is being done by the desire of the Lord, then what is karma, right? Then that means we are not responsible for anything, right? Here he says that everyone is doing it according to what is the Supreme Lord is designing. Then where is the karma, or what are we supposed to be doing? So there is Shri Radha Govindaji. So one time there was a person and he was standing on a bridge, on one side of the bridge, and it seemed that the bridge was about to break and he had to go on the other side. On the other side he saw that the Lord was standing. Lord was standing on the other side. God was standing on the other side. So he told, oh God, please come and take me on the other side of the bridge. Because the bridge was breaking apart. The God did not listen to him. He said, no, you come on your own. No, he did not listen actually. He did not come. And the person actually had to go, very desperately, had to go on the other side of the bridge. And he was waiting. He many times requested, oh God, please come. The God did not come. So this person just walked across the bridge. When he went on the other side of the bridge, he saw that God was holding the bridge on his shoulder. He was making sure that the bridge does not fall as he was walking through the bridge. समझ आए? So similarly, God did not come to pick him up to take him across the bridge. He wanted him to do the karma, the act of crossing the bridge himself, but having the faith that the Lord is there to protect him. Right? He is there in front of him. He is saying, you come. But the lack is of our faith. Initially he was very scared. If I go, I will bridge will fall apart. So when he actually saw that the God was holding the bridge on his shoulder. Similarly, Krishna is holding everything in our life. Everything in our life. We may think that we are doing, right? But actually, everything is being held by Krishna. Everything is being provided by him. Everything is being provided by him. But we think we are doing, and because we think we are doing, that's when something doesn't happen, we feel miserable. When something we get a lot, we feel very ecstatic. But instead, if we see that everything actually is a part of his plan, and we are just Kathputli, right? We are just in his hands and we are playing that act, then when we don't achieve something, we will not be miserable. And if we achieve a lot, we will not be necessarily happy. This is also Krishna telling Arjuna Bhagavad Gita that the devotee is always sum, is always same. He does not get too excited, he does not get too despondent. In every situation in life, he sees the hand of the Supreme. And actually that truth is there. One time a person woke up in the morning, and from the morning all the way to the end of the day, he was facing problem after problem after problem. So in the evening he went to the temple and he said, or church or wherever he went to, and he said, "Oh Lord, why is it that nothing went well today? Nothing went well." Many times we also feel like that, right? Since morning nothing has gone well. Right? I tried to do something, it didn't work out, and everything went bad in there. So he said, I got up in the morning, the alarm did not go off. So the milkman, I went to the shop to get the milk had all finished, so I could not have a breakfast. I went to start the car would not start. It took me so long to start the car. I got to the work very late. When I went to eat lunch in the cafeteria, so the first sandwich that they made was all bad, and then they had to make the other sandwich, so I got so late I had to eat so fast. And then when I came home, I said I was so exhausted the whole day that I just used to told so many things. When I came home, I said I had this new foot massager. So I put my feet in there, at least now I can relax, but then the foot massager will not work. So why is it that everything all day long has gone bad? So the Lord said, well, in the morning, the milk that you were going to go to buy was actually bad. If you would have drunk that milk, then your stomach would have become upset, you would have developed a lot of diseases. So I made you sleep through, so you would not go up and pick up the milk. When you were trying to start the car, if you would have driven the car on the road, during that route there was a drunk person who would come and hit you. So I delayed your starting the car so the drunkard would not hit your car. And then that sandwich, the first person who made the sandwich, he was very sick, he was coughing and sneezing, and all those germs would have gotten into your food. So that time, he didn't make the sandwich correctly, so the next person made, so I'm sure you did not want to become sick. He said, no, I didn't want to become sick. So see, I tried to protect you. And when you came in the night, your foot massager, that would have actually caused a short circuit and all your lights would have gone off. And I don't think you would have wanted to spend the night in dark, did you? He said, no. So this person felt very embarrassed. That actually something which appeared that the Lord, that it was trouble in his life, was actually a part of the Lord's scheme, not to prevent him from suffering. So, actually this is true, right? It actually is true. Many times in our life also we realize that something that at that time we feel is not good. But later on we realize, actually, it's good that it didn't happen like that at that time, right? So, this is what he's saying. This is now a devotee understands this, that as we understand that everything is part of the scheme of the Supreme. We just have to learn to see it. We just have to see it that His Kripa is there in every act. Then we will not feel frustrated. And He is actually doing everything. There is a bhajan, nice Hindi bhajan. आपकी कृपा से सब काम everything is being done by your mercy. Oh Lord, everything is being done by your mercy, but I get the credit of that thing being done, right? So I actually get the credit. So, so this way, so now Naradji is telling to Maharaj Yudhishthira that just like a player, right? A player, when he plays, he controls all the parts of the game, right? So, for example, when whatever game you play, whether you're sitting down and playing carom, right? So you strike, or you're playing cricket, or you're playing baseball, you are controlling the ball, you are controlling the bat. The bat or the ball are not jumping up and down on their own, right? It's not that the bat is hitting the ball on its own, right? It's the player who's controlling the bat, and that bat isn't hitting the ball. So he said, just like that, just like a player makes different objects in a game come together and get separated, right? So the ball comes and hits the bat, and then he hits it, the ball goes away, they get separated. He says, similarly, by the desire of the Lord, the human beings meet and then they get separated. So, Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Updrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha parmatmiti cha api uttah dehe asmin purusha paraha. He says, in this body we may think that we are doing everything by our own volition, right? But he says, no. In this body there is another transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the Supreme Proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, who is known as the Super Soul. So he is actually within us. We may not see him, but he is seeing us. We may not realize him, but he is making everything in our life happen. So everything that happens by the desire of the Supreme Lord. But in that situation, what we do becomes our karma. So whatever happens, whatever situation gets created, the situation gets created because of a previous karma, but that happens, it actually materializes by the potency of the Supreme. And in that situation, what we do, right, becomes our karma for the next life. So Naradji says that, oh Maharaj Yudhishthira, that you should realize, you should understand that every living entity has two things. Every person, one is their soul within, which is eternal, and then this body, which is temporary. These are two parts of everyone's personalities. So therefore, knowing that the soul is eternal and the body is temporary, you should not lament when the body disappears from your vision, right? So in this case, they were not sure that actually Maharaj Dhritarashtra has died or anything. He has simply gone away. Right? So similarly, knowing that when the person has disappeared from your vision, his existence has not ceased. समझ रहे हैं? अगर हमारी दृष्टि से कोई लुप्त हो गया, उसका कारण ये नहीं, उसका अर्थ ये नहीं कि उसका एग्जिस्टेंस जो है वो खत्म हो गई. That person, that personality, that jiva is still existing. So you should not lament for such people. And then he says that we ourselves are controlled by this modes of material nature. We ourselves are going into the mouth of death, which is like an ajgar, which is like a big python. Then how can we protect each other? Right? How can we protect each other? When we ourselves are all suffering, is anyone here who can say, no, I will live forever, that's why I can protect you forever? No. Right? So therefore, we should just do our duties, but not worry about everything in our life. So, example, whether it's for our children or for our parents, we have to do our duties. Right? We have to perform whatever our responsibilities are towards our parents, towards our children, towards our family, towards people around us. But unnecessarily worrying about them is not helpful, right? Because everyone is going to get what is destined for them. So he's not saying, or Krishna doesn't say anywhere that you should neglect those who are dependent on you. That is not the point. But don't get stressed by that, and don't get so absorbed in that you forget what is the real purpose of life. Never forget that. What is the real purpose? The real purpose is to understand what is my real position. Who am I? Who is the Supreme Lord? And build that relationship with Him. How do we do that? By coming to the temple, by associating with those who understand, by performing sadhana. So just doing this regularly, every single day, every single week, slowly and gradually we will also start to understand. It all starts from a commitment. Commitment that whatever may be, I will not give up whatever little I am doing for the service of the Lord. Yesterday, we have a gardener who comes every Saturday to cut the grass. So yesterday we called him in the morning. Normally he comes at 8 o'clock in the morning, but he didn't turn up at 8 o'clock. So we called him. He said, I'll come around 1. I got stuck someplace, but I'll be there at 1 o'clock. So he came at 1 o'clock, but it was pouring heavily, very heavy rain. So he said, if I can wait till the rain stops, but if I cut your grass, it will all become a mess. So he said, why don't you come tomorrow? He said, no, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the church day. So he's a Mexican guy. But he says, not tomorrow, tomorrow is church day. So very nice. We said, sure, no problem. We can stay without our grass being cut for 2-3 days to go to your church. Right? So this is what is commitment. No matter what, right? No matter what, I will not give up that commitment that I have. So see, this we see in so many religions. Unfortunately, we don't see many times in Indian brothers and sisters. But this is one commitment if we can have to begin with. One commitment, no matter what, right? I can adjust all the priorities in my life that I have to go to the temple at least on Sunday, once a week, and be here, associate with the devotees, participate in the kirtan, do some service. Just doing these simple acts, these are like magic. These are actually like magic. Every single day, every single week, you start doing it, and slowly, more than once a week, and every day, and every moment. This is how it goes. And everything that Krishna is saying, or Narad is saying, you will actually start realizing. So he says that everyone in this world is dependent on each other, and everything is moving by the potency of the Supreme in the form of car. So समय जो है सबको चला रहा है. The Lord in the form of time is making everything move. So it says your uncle, they have actually, where they have gone to the Himalayas. There is a place there where Govindaji divides into 7 parts. It's called Saptadhara. So they have gone that place, and there they are performing tapasya. So I would advise that now he could feel that Dhritarashtra was still wanting to go to Himalayas and somehow bring his uncle back. Now that he knew that they have gone to the Himalaya, he wanted to go there. So Narad said, don't go there. I will not advise you to go there. Because finally, they have been able to give up the attachment and leave. Right? And now, within the next 5 days, Maharaj Dhritarashtra, by the potency of his tapasya, he will give up his body and he will go back to the spiritual world. So I will not advise you to go and disturb him in what he is doing. Right? So neither should you go and try to bring your aunt Hari back, because she is going to follow into the footsteps of her husband. And Vidur, after seeing that Dhritarashtra and Gandhari have left this world, he is going to leave again to go to holy places. So now you are the king, you execute your responsibilities, you take care of this kingdom, and when the time comes, then you should also all leave and go in the last part of your life, go to the Himalayas and perfect your life. So like this, Naradji instructed, I've very briefly explained. So basically explained to him that everything in our life happens by the will of the Lord, right? He is always there. We should feel dependent on him. So this is, we should always feel that he is there to protect us. And he is actually there. He is always there to protect us. It's only a matter of experiencing that. One time when I initially met Gurudev, so I went to him in his room and he had small deities of Radha Krishna on a table, on the side table. I went and bowed down to him and I said, and then he asked, he pointed to the table where the deities were Radha Krishna and he said, who are they? So I said, they are Radha Krishna. So then he said, believe they are Radha Krishna. So I just said, they are Radha. So we saw deities, like Radha Krishna bowed down. But he says, believe it. They are. He emphasized, they are Radha Krishna. Believe it. Just saying and thinking it doesn't matter, but believe it. And that belief, that faith can do wonders. So I will stop here because we also have to sing. Anyone has any question? किसी को कोई प्रश्न है? सब convinced हैं? Everyone convinced? Right? So the teacher asks the question and everyone says no question. That means you have understood everything, right? So okay, that's very good. Everyone is convinced. So everyone is a great devotee here. Very good. So
coming every Sunday.
Yeah, actually, if everyone is convinced, we are going to do a little seva on Saturday. Diwali is coming, and everyone is going to clean and decorate their homes. But this is the home of Krishna, so we are going to clean and decorate the temple next Saturday from 3 to 7 p.m. If you can come for 4 hours, great. Even if you can come for some time, अगले सैटरडे को 3 से 7 बजे के बीच में हम लोग मंदिर की सफाई करेंगे और सजावट करेंगे दिवाली और अन्नकूट के लिए. If you can come for 3 to 7, great. But even if you can come for some time, that would be very nice. We have so many services to do the temple cleaning. So everyone is requested to come. Gau Prema